All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-through. This is 3.5, number 13, a fancy little double detour proof, okay? Hungry? Stop by the deli. Get yourself a salami sandwich. So, here we go. Short sponsorship today because this is going to be a really long proof. I'm going to write everything into my givens right here on the proof. So, we are given all sorts of stuff. NR is congruent to NV. I'll go back and label these after I write them all down. That's enough. I don't care. You got it? Okay. We're given P and Q are midpoints. Angle R is congruent to angle V. And PX is congruent to QX. All right. So, angle R is congruent to angle V. We can know that. And R, so this whole thing is congruent to this whole thing. And then P and Q are midpoints. So we are going to be able to get to the fact that all four of those are congruent to each other by segments division. It gives us that PX is congruent to QX. And it wants us to prove that triangle XST is isosceles. I hope that's enough room. Okay, well, one thing that's apparent to me from the beginning is that I could pretty easily prove that triangle NXP is congruent to triangle NXQ. And then I could use that to possibly get to maybe an angle, side angle, and then we're going to use subtraction, okay? So I'm going to say draw NX. And that's going to be because, sorry, that's given. This is going to be 2 points, determine a line. Okay, now I'm going to say NX is congruent to NX. And it's going to be reflexive. Now I'm going to say that NP is congruent to NQ, is congruent to PR, is congruent to QV, and that's going to be my segments division. If I have two congruent segments and I bisect each segment, then the resulting segments are all also congruent. All right, so now I've got this established. So now I can say that triangle NPX is congruent to triangle NQX, and that's going to be by side, side, side. Okay, now, I already in my head kind of proved this before I started the video, so the next thing I'm going to need to do is prove that triangle PRT is congruent to triangle QSV. And I think all I got to do is say that I need to say that these two angles are congruent. Do you agree? Then I could use angle, side angle. So check this out. Angle NPX is congruent to angle NQX. What allows me to say that? CPCTC. Very good. Okay. Then I'm going to say that angle NPX is sup to angle RPX, and angle NQX is sup to angle VQX. And Luke, what allows me to say that based on our conversation we had earlier? You paying attention to this? That's right, buddy. Yes, you could. Very good question. Okay. So now I can say that RPX is congruent to VQX. My reason? Congruent supplements theorem. Okay. Now I can say that triangle RPT is congruent to triangle VQS. And it's going to be angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. Okay. Then, step 10, I'm going to say that PT equals QS. PT is congruent to QS by CPCTC. Almost had it perfect. Step 11. Well, they told us that PX was congruent to QX already, right? So then I can say XS is congruent to XT. Just raise your hand if you think you know what this answer is. I'm just curious as to who's still paying attention. Okay? Segment what? Very good, very good. Segment subtraction. And now, holy jeez, I can say triangle XST is isosceles. And my reason? That's the only reason I have to prove that something's isosceles. What do you mean, how are we supposed to do that? Like that. Right. Boom!